So I want to work on the valley drop today. One of the simplest takedowns, goes back to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu from the start. In order to perform the valley drop, I typically like to get a body lock. That body lock could be with double unders, it could be with an arm trapped. Either or is fine with me as long as I can get a body lock. With that said, you do not need the body lock in order to do the valley drop. Instead of a body lock, you can kind of grab a hold of a waist grip here, maybe grab a hold of their belt, and then also tie up this arm, which essentially kind of acts as a body lock. Like I said though, I prefer to use a body lock, specifically if I can get the double unders. That's a great position. That's what I like to do when I go for the valley drop. So that's what I'm going to show today. So like I said, first things first, I want you to come in and get your body lock. When I get my body lock, I just don't kind of gently hug him. I want to pull him into me. That could be with a gable grip, depending on the size of the person's body. You could gable grip to get in. If you got longer arms or the guy's skinny, you can just grab a hold of your wrist like this. After I pull him into me, I also like to tuck my elbows as well. This starts to put pressure on his ribs, starts to make him very uncomfortable. Also, when I have my body lock, I glue my head to his chest. I want my head all the way out here, then I'm off balance. He can start to push me back onto my back. So good strong body lock, sucked in, ear to the chest. Next thing I'm gonna do is make sure that my hips are low. If I get a body lock on him and my hips are high, I'm at risk of being thrown. All he has to do is lower his hips and get his hips lower than mine, and then he can throw me. So the whole time when I have my body lock, I make sure that my hips are lower than his. A way that I do that is I kind of create space with my butt and kind of push it back into this nice seated strong position and get up onto my toes. So now I'm pressuring into him with hips lower than his. Next thing I want to do is once I get in here, I need to start blading myself off to the side. I pretty much want to get all the way to his back if possible. A good opponent, right, is really not going to let that happen with this arm. They're going to try to block it and prevent you from getting to the back. That's fine. I want you to get as close to his back as possible. I see too many people that are up front and they go to do the valley drop and can't get it. They essentially pull the guy on top of them. You need to make sure we're blading off to the side. That whole time while I'm blading, my hips stay low, and my ear stays glued. What's going to happen, Paul, give me a body lock, please. Start to blade off to the side with my hips high, please. If his hips are high like this, all the person's gonna have to do is step in, lower their hips, and there's a hip toss. So keep your hips low. Once I've bladed off to the side, got as far around as I can, I'm gonna set this leg out with the foot behind his foot. I'm opening up my foot like a golf club in order to use it as a good tripping stop block. Once I've extended my leg, all I'm gonna do is sit to this butt cheek, dragging him to the ground with my body weight. Boom. As we go to the ground, see how I keep my chest connected to his? I'm doing that in order to roll his shoulders forward. If I don't do that, boom, and I go here, see what happens? My arm gets trapped underneath his. That isn't good for jiu-jitsu. It's not good for a street fight, maybe on concrete. Your arm may get stuck under there. You're probably gonna break your hand if that happens. So we want to, as we're falling to the ground, I use my chest to roll him over in order to pull this arm out. So, again, from the start, I get my body lock, suck him in, keep my head glued, keep my hips low. Let's start to blade off to the side until I get as far off to the side as possible. Then I'm gonna stick this foot out to block, and I'm gonna drag him to the ground using my body weight. On the way down, I pull that arm out, keep chest and shoulder pressure in order to walk his shoulder line that way, get my arm out, and keep control of the position. If you're more advanced, you've been doing this technique for a while, I want you to actually mount the person as you go to the ground as well. So boom, we get here, off to the side, we sit. And immediately, as I go to the ground, I'm also stepping over while keeping that chest connection. Now I can end up in mount. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, let's drill it.